Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. I want to talk about the coming next Great Depression, which I believe is going to come. No guarantee, but we're starting to see trends. In fact, with this article, this website I'm going to go to, I think you're going to start seeing the same things. Let's jump right into it. You can't get any better than this. The Ducksters. It's a teaching history website, which, of course, you always have to know that history is in the eye of the victor. But either way, when we're talking about the Great Depression, it goes through what caused it, shows the iconic photographs and everything. It's a really good website. When you go down to here, it talks about interesting facts about the Great Depression. And as we go through a few of these, I want you to see what's happening here compared to what's happening with us nowadays. Okay. Now, I think most people know the stock market lost almost 90% of its value between 29 and 33, or at least a big chunk of it. We know the market crashed causing this. And around 11,000 banks have failed. And as time goes on, over the next year or two, those are the things I really think we should keep an eye on, because we see the market already teetering anyway. And banks, I personally would not hold a lot of money in banks if all possible. It also talks about unemployment, which we're experiencing now as well. It was at 3% before the Great Depression and went up to 25%, 1 out of every 4 people. And honestly, it was mostly people in the cities. The average family income dropped by 40%. That's huge. More than $1 billion in bank deposits were lost. Could you imagine that happened today? Now, here we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this. Look, the New Deal, that's so nice, created 100 new government offices and 40 new agencies. So are you seeing a correlation? People's income dropping drastically. Look at today. We have it where people are literally starting to use credit to pay for groceries and essentials because they don't have the money. And we're having a labor shortage. There's a lot of people out of work right now, even though unemployment says, not that many. It's because there's so many of them not even looking for jobs. Well, what's going on here? We can see a correlation in the Great Depression that specifically people lost their jobs, and then suddenly, just out of the kindness of the New Deal, we see a ridiculous amount of new government agencies coming into play, hiring these people. There's a term for that. It's called socialism. Even more so, around 300,000 companies went out of business. Hundreds of thousands of families could not pay their mortgages and were evicted. And Roosevelt pushed 15 major laws through the first 100 days of office. And we already saw the same thing in 2020. Hundreds of thousands of businesses went out of business. Of course, there's far more businesses today than in the 20s, but it's already happening. And even more so of small businesses. I mentioned this before, 22% of all small businesses closed their doors permanently in 2020. But 2021, 22, and 23 is certainly not any better. We're still seeing some major problems. In fact, I almost made a video of the countless even big corporations that are tanking right now. And if you know the corporations are tanking, the small businesses are actually even suffering even more, because the corporations have a lot of buffer, have a lot of stock investments in them to be able to stay afloat. Not for small businesses. We're already seeing this. So again, are we heading for another Great Depression? Honestly, it looks like we are, for the fact that we're seeing the exact same things happen. And understand that in the Great Depression, in 1929, going into 1930, they all thought they were just in a recession at the time. And then suddenly, boom, into the 30s, they're like, oh no, this is not just a normal recession we're in. So we need to prepare. Goshen Prepping is not about simply just looking at history and saying that's neat. It's about let's look at the history and learn what we can do now to be able to protect ourselves. Not just stockpiling food, but understanding and developing contingency plans to be able to work. Let's say your company, think about this, the company right now that you depend on for your income goes out of business. What are you going to do? You should really look at contingency plans. Or maybe you actually get assistance from the government. Maybe you're retired and you get some kind of stuff you put in for investment. Those investments may go away too. What are you going to do? So let's think of some different plans and even put in the comments below on what you might do, so that way everybody can learn from this and change, because we could easily see some seriously catastrophic times coming.